Hello, welcome. Boxing this week 46, I believe. We have got a massive fight week. I've called it the biggest fight week ever. I think that's fair to say. We've got from Canelo to Inoue to Devin Haney, Garcia, pound for pound stars littered everywhere. Some of the biggest names in boxing littered everywhere. Arguably two of the biggest names in boxing. Actually, three, four, who knows? Look, we've got loads to talk about, and we've still got a little bit of Ben Eubank to wrap up. Although I am going to say we're not going to touch on that too much because we did do an after show on Sunday. So go watch that if you want a full breakdown. We had a really good conversation about it. Paolo, how are you before we get into this?
I'm good, man. It's a big week of boxing, as you said. Listen,
it is.
Before we go into the boxing, we do have to ask a question. Are we throwing it in now?
Go for it, mate.
Listen, it is combat sports, but in it's a different realm, maybe AI. A gorilla has taken the internet by storm over the last week.
Yeah.
So, Connor, I wanted to ask you, gorilla vs 100 men, who's winning?
It depends. It depends on the men. If we're talking 100 Usyks, then they win easily. If we're talking 100 me, then they lose easily.
No, I think 100 Usyks will get flattened by a gorilla.
No. Because think about it. Think about the timing, right? A gorilla is not doing cardio every day, you know? So I think the gorilla will fight, right, it kills the first 10 easily. But Usyk's a big guy. Usyk then, that should be the question, 100 Usyks versus one gorilla. I think Usyk wins easily. I think the first 50 tire the gorilla out, he's knackered. The next 50 just beat shit out.
I think 100 Jarrell Millers have got more chance.
Yeah, because Jarrell Miller's like 350 pounds. He's huge.
So he kind of matches a gorilla in terms of weight.
Are we talking? We're talking silverback, aren't we? So hold on.
How much is a silverback weight?
Silverback gorilla weight. 430 pounds. So Jarrell Miller is 80 pounds off.
He's killing Usyk. The gorilla is killing 100 Usyk.
They can lift over 800 kilo. Okay. Maybe it does. I don't know.
100 men could beat up a gorilla. Just men.
Normal men. No. Because you take the average man is not that fit and is not strong, like really strong.
Yeah.
Like 100 athletes, maybe.
100
just bog standard men. I think a gorilla mauls them to death. Also, it's that like primal thing, isn't it? If a gorilla is put in a tight spot where it needs to fight its way out, it will. A human.
Not even that though, as well. But a gorilla's got no means. I feel like to dirty play as well. Like he will probably chuck his shit at you.
Yeah, you got to kick him in the balls. I think that's how you win. You got to kick the gorilla in the balls.
I feel like if you try to kick the gorilla in the balls, it'd be like, have you ever watched Men in Black?
I have.
The bit where they kick the alien who the balls are on his chin, but they try and kick his crotch and he's made of steel. I think it was number 2. But anyway,
I know what you're saying.
You're gonna kick. Yeah, so guy, it's a Men in Black alien with balls on his chin.
But what else are you doing? Realistically, how are you going to kill it? Like with your bare hands, you're not going to knock it out. It's not like you can just land flush on the chin. I think you have to go for the balls. You've got to go dirty. I think the gorilla beats 100 normal men. I think 100 Usyks, 100 Jarrell Miller.
100 Millwall men, did you say?
Normal. Millwall men they're as dirty as a gorilla. They'll fucking kill the gorilla, man.
Let me ask you this, yeah? Let me rephrase this question, yeah? To the people watching, if you could pick one weapon, let me ask you, Connor, if you could pick one weapon to fight the gorilla with, what would it be?
A gun. I'm taking a machine gun with the ones with the ammo where it's like in a string and it goes over. It's basically just endless bullets. No, not even that. That's not even safe enough. I'm taking
the gun. You can take a gun, but the gun can't kill the gorilla. So any weapon, but the weapon can't kill the gorilla. It can only hurt the gorilla.
I'm fucked. Look, I'm dead either way. I don't think there's a situation where I live here.
Easy, man. It's really easy because you have this one. You're one up. You take a tranquilizer.
That's boring. That ruins.
It's not nice. Yeah, smart though.
Yeah, it is smart, but that's not the question.
The memes have killed me on social media, so I thought I'd bring it up.
No, that's good. Let us know. Could 100 of you beat a gorilla? That's the real question. Because I know 100 of me is getting killed horrendously. It's game over pretty quick. Right. Weekly roundup very quickly because we do have more important things to talk about. On the topic of Jarrell Miller, he has pulled out of the fight against Fabio Wardley. He's injured. He's pulled out, but they've already found a replacement. It's yet to be announced, but they found the replacement. Daniel Dubois versus Usyk got announced basically immediately after our show last week. Since then, they are fighting in Wembley. They've done their head-to-head. Team Dubois very much going with the low blow stuff. Team Usyk, as usual, don't really care.
However, the IBF have thrown a spanner in the woodworks.
The IBF, they're mandating Derek Chisora because they're being dickheads. So whether or not that's for undisputed, I don't know. But
no, they're mandating Derek Chisora for the IBF belt.
Yeah.
From what I read, they've got purse bids go out on the 22nd of May.
Yeah.
Essentially, they've got until June, January, April, May, June, to basically come up with when they're going to do it. The problem is that decision is difficult to be made if you're in a camp fighting already.
Yeah, I don't understand this because my understanding of it has always been you get a voluntary defense. So I don't understand how surely Team Dubois, Frank Warren, the rest of it.
Joshua won a mandatory for the IBF.
He wasn't voluntary defense, was he? Because if he was, then that changes it.
I don't think Joshua.
I think he must have been because it was Dubois and Hrgović fought for the interim. Joshua was. I want to say Joshua was third, but maybe you're right. I don't remember him being
because after Joshua.
That changes it.
Let's look at it like this, yeah. Before he fought Parker, who was his last fight before that?
Dubois, Hrgović.
Oh
wait, no.
Joshua.
What before he fought Dubois? Oh, it was. Was it Ngannou?
Okay, so they can't give him a title shot off the back of that. Who the hell is Ngannou when it comes to boxing?
No, I know. I mean, that side of it's crazy, but
so I don't.
I don't know. So maybe he was the voluntary defense, in which case Usyk isn't, and therefore
we're pretending, chat, that we know who the voluntary defense was because I don't. But I'm I'm gonna put good money on the fact that Joshua wasn't, and that was his voluntary defense. However,
I'd agree.
And they would have picked that fight because it would have made them the most money for Dubois at the time.
Yeah,
because Joshua does that. When Joshua wants to fight you, unless you've got good reasons, you're not really going to say no because of the money 100%. Involved with it. Same with Tyson Fury, etc. Tyson Fury, the difference is Tyson Fury isn't as easy to draw into the ring as probably Joshua is. I feel like Joshua would just sort of fight for the sake of fighting, whereas Fury's thinks a bit more calculated. That's no disrespect to Joshua. It's just the kind of it is like what it is.
Fury is a businessman all over. I think Joshua's still got a lot of hunger to do something. It's a good and a bad. It's a double-edged sword kind of thing.
But basically, at the moment, that's throwing the fact that if Dubois walks into the Usyk fight as an IBF title champion, if they enforce that and do what they need to do, we could see Dubois stripped to the IBF title. And it doesn't matter on the magnitude of the fight, unification. They've already had unification last year or this year. I can't see the IBF budget on this.
They don't.
Enforce it.
They don't budge unless there's a loophole that's like we're talking about voluntary defenses and all that. Unless there's something like that.
Yeah.
But but you're right with the Joshua thing. I don't think there is. So okay, that's interesting. But the fight's going to go ahead. Realistically, what we actually might end up seeing is Derek Chisora fighting. That's right. Derek Chisora could end up fighting Hrgović, or God, I guess Hrgović will be straight back up in the rankings. Somebody else. There is now a chance Derek Chisora on his 50th fight will retire as a world champion. That's where we're at, which I actually quite like now because I wouldn't want to see him fight the bar. But other than that, in the weekly roundup, it looks like Anthony Joshua's training's ramped up a little. That's just speculation. Tyson Fury is suggesting that he is back. Usyk wants to fight Dubois and then wants to fight AJ or Fury in a sort of trilogy fight. And there was other big news that I've forgotten. Why have I forgotten it? Oh, Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. So Eubank Jr. didn't break his jaw. The both of them are healthy. Conor Benn's actually back in the gym already. Not boxing, but just doing sort of fitness, just general running, etc., strength training. And the fight depends on the source, but I'm going off of the Ring magazine. Did 620k pay-per-view buys, which is a lot. I imagine illegal streaming has hit it massively.
What's this? Subscriptions?
The Ben Eubank fight.
Massively.
620k pay-per-view, which is a huge amount either way. 65,000 people in the stadium, 620,000 who've paid to watch, but you already know that it's probably double that watched it without paying. I will say the zone on the night was not great for anybody watching who, if you somehow see this and you work for the zone, I don't think it was just me. There were issues. I had issues. So it's a lot harder to justify paying for something if it's not worth it. But either way, it made a load of money. I think somebody did the numbers in just based on obviously what we know and the information we get. That is the first Saudi card that 100% made money, which is crazy. But
that's mental, you know.
Obviously, we don't know sponsorship deals and all the rest of it. But given we know how much fighters were getting paid, or roughly, and we know pay-per-view numbers and gate number, so roughly. Either way, right, let's talk about the big fights this weekend. We're going to go in order of kind of how they're happening.
Before you say that, can I just go back to something very quickly?
Yep.
That you said about the subscriptions. It's very interesting because I think that stream, I estimate that would probably done 2 million plus. Now, the problem is, like you say, illegal streaming and all these things have played a part in it, which is why I think we've seen 620k pay-per-views or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The problem is as well, from what I understand, they've changed their stance on how they're going to tackle piracy. So essentially, they're trying to track down the people at the top and not punishing the people watching it.
Yeah.
Be it the fire sticks or whatever it is. So essentially now the problem you've got is finding these guys that they've been trying to track for years, which have proven to obviously be difficult. I don't really know how long it's going to take them, how much money it's going to spend trying to track it. Plus, you're talking about piracy happens in every country. So essentially, you've got to get X amount of police forces to work together. It's a big operation. America, here, Europe. You couldn't name a country that doesn't stream illegally.
Yeah.
Get it? Or that they've got. So I don't really understand how they're going to tackle that. And I think we're going to see more of pay-per-views or these figures probably being undervalued because of that reason. So I believe that probably done what Eddie Hearn said, or would have done what Eddie Hearn said, 1 million plus in terms of pay-per-view.
Easily.
I think the second fight would do double, but I don't want the second fight. But I'm saying if they were to fight again, it does double. But yeah, like you say, I think piracy had the big effect on the streams. It's just a case of how do you tackle it.
Yeah, I mean, I know obviously they're working closely with Dana White now, and the UFC is very good at getting rid of piracy. So potentially they'll lock down on it a little bit faster now. But yeah, I don't know. The second fight will do better. The second fight, because it's now got not just the fact that the storyline and the fathers and all this is already there, but because that first fight I mean, I've got people that don't watch boxing asking me if they should watch this fight because they've heard about it.
I'm all hearing that Eubank nearly died after that fight, by the way. So I don't think the second fight will happen.
I don't think we'll get a second fight. I don't want a second fight. It doesn't make sense.
It wasn't because of a jaw, and it weren't because of the fist. It was apparently because he was extremely dehydrated in hospital. His dad actually said it, Eubank Sr. And he said that he sat there. I saw this today. It was actually quite worrying, or like a bit, not I would say upset. See, I don't know Sebastian who passed away, but it's sad when you see it in boxing, right?
Yeah.
It was quite sad to read. And he turned around and he said, essentially, because Eubank Jr is sensitive to light, apparently. So when they got him in the hospital, they had him wrapped in like towels and everything. And then they had his hair covered because of the scarring and all the cuts. They had his eyes covered here. So apparently all you could see was his beard poking out, and it gave Senior from what I read or what I interpreted from it, I think he had flashbacks of seeing maybe his other son who passed the same way. And I think what Eubank Sr was saying all along, because I know we've got to go on and talk about the show, but I think it's all well and good. But he is not a stupid man, by the way, Eubank Sr. And I've always thought this. Funny, yes. Controversial, yes. But he's not stupid. He's all there mentally. That guy is all there mentally. He's a bit eccentric. He's not everyone's cup of tea. But you can't deny, but when you're talking to him on radio, I feel like the media and some promoters, Eddie Hearn, maybe others, play him down as a bit stupid or lost it or loopy. Yeah. Eubank Sr. is very much there. 100%. Very articulated in his responses, and he knows what he's talking about as well, obviously. And when it comes to everyone was laughing at him when he said he wasn't happy that his son was fighting. Now the fight's finished. Everyone wants to start, and they saw the weight cut that Eubank done, and they saw what he went through afterwards, and because of the war that he was in, and all these factors, now people want to say, "Oh, now I see what Eubank Sr meant." So beforehand, he's stupid. He's lost it. He's lost the plot. Now, I get what he means. Yeah, nah, Eubank's full of knowledge. It's a very, very double standard from a lot of people. Yeah. If you did think Eubank was level-headed before and afterwards, big up to yourself. But I just think, just for the record, I think he's a very intelligent man.
Yeah, 100%. And he knows boxing as well. He's a genius when it comes to boxing. I think he's a smart man outside of it, but he's a genius when it comes to boxing.
He'd be a great pundit, but he hates media, innit?
Yeah. I agree. I don't think we will see the fight again. If we did, the pay-per-view would be amazing, but the money from it would be crazy. But it's really not safe, because I know really we only talk about Eubank in the health side, but we've still got to remember Conor Benn is so much smaller.
Yeah.
It's not safe for either of them. Eubank out of the two of them was more affected this time round, but you never know. Next time, because it's hotter, and it does sound stupid, but Eubank might be able to get rid of a bit more weight relatively a bit easier, because if they did it in September, he'd maybe drop a bit more.
They want to drop it down to 157 if they fight again.
It won't happen. It just, no. Then you're asking him to die. You're asking him to get in there and die. That's the severity of that.
You're right. Sorry, go on, finish.
But this is what I mean, is I think Eubank could make 160 in September because he's got the summer camp, but Conor Benn will come in lighter. Conor Benn will not have that weight. For Conor Benn's career, he does not want to be naturally 160 pounds. He'll be too big for welterweight, so he'll really struggle to make that weight, and he'll be too small to do anything at middleweight. So it just doesn't make sense. But
that answers a question on TikTok we was asked, because we put a reel up, and I know you saw it, and it was So I just want to read it out quick. I know we've got stuff to talk about. But I just want to highlight it quick because we appreciate obviously all the support. Whatever the questions may be, hard, positive, whatever they are, they're all fair. Everyone's got an opinion. That's why we're here, because we want to create a conversation for people, right? So great fight. Where was it? So it was a comment by August again on TikTok, who said, "Why would you not want the rematch as a spectator?" We replied simply with a probably humble answer saying, for Conor Benn, there's big fights at his weight. Then if Haney, Garcia, Teofimo moved up, they're big fights. Yeah, and all these things. He's already got Ennis there. He's got the Barrios fight. There's a lot of fights for him around that weight. And obviously with these 140 fighters looking to move up, once they've done what they've done, it's only a matter of time before Conor Benn's in talks to get them fights, right? August said, get what you're saying, and all of it is right. Just to clarify, that was the start of the sentence. But why not, as a spectator witnessing one of the best British fights, would you not want to watch the rematch all over again? Ben's moving too far up. Eubank is too drained. It was a brilliant fight, but those two conditions could breed real lasting danger. Fighters need to be protected. It's going to be the same result. I think you wrote that one. And then obviously underneath, it's going to be the same result, in my opinion, the fight. I think it goes the same way again, close, but I think Eubank would win. Because of this reason of the crossweight stuff, I don't think it does. We always talk about Eubank, but I don't think it does Conor Benn these favours fighting at this weight. He's just naturally not that big. Don't get me wrong. I'm not denying for a second Conor Benn would get in the ring with anyone. It's not even a joke. But it's just within your limits of what you're able to do and pushing the boundaries, which he's done. I just don't think you can carry on pushing them boundaries.
No.
So going back to it, what Conor said answers your question, right?
Yeah. Conor Benn could fight at 154 and potentially win a title there. But welterweight division is now the place to be. Jaron Ennis is there. Haney's just moved up. Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson will move up. If Shakur can't get the fight with Gervonta Davis for whatever reason, Shakur will move up to 147 because that's where the good fights are. I do believe Shakur wants the good fights. It's just not happening right now for whatever reason. Well, actually, no, it is because he's fighting Zepeda, so fair play. But Conor Benn can potentially, and I don't really know if he beats all of any of or whatever these guys. But if Conor Benn's career could end up being he fights Eubank Jr. at the weight he did, and that's going to be remembered forever. He has just cemented himself.
By the way,
yeah, 100%. He could then go and fight Barrios, win a world title, because he'll get the shot next, no doubt about that. He could potentially unify two belts in that division in the 147-pound division. He could then add the likes of Haney, Garcia, Jaron Ennis, potentially Shakur Stevenson onto his resume.
Mm-hmm.
He could end his career with one of the best resumes British boxing has to offer.
Once you become a champion as well under Eddie Hearn, I'm telling you, and whether people like it or not, he will build Ben up even more than he's built him up already. 100%. I know this fight's done wonders for him, but WBC champion, potentially WBC champion under Eddie Hearn, the way that he'll get pushed, managed, etc. We might even see the Shakur fight because Shakur's also under Eddie Hearn. It might be a good fight to make, easy fight to make. Negotiations are just with each other's teams. You've got one promoter in there. But like I just wanted to highlight that before we move on. You made a very good point about the, as you said, weight. We'll do a clip of that because people need to understand it. It's not as simple as just seeing the second fight because you enjoyed it. Although I do respect that a lot, it's drawn a lot of casual fans in, and maybe that's some of them asking.
100%. There'll be people that don't understand the weight side of it, but that doesn't factor in.
Yeah.
Just because what you saw on Saturday night didn't end with a casualty doesn't mean that. I feel like we were quite lucky that Saturday night went the way it did. But anyway, right. If you want an even more sort of broken down version of that, we did a show. It's called it might be called the day after show or whatever. We're starting something new on fight week after big fights, not every week, but after the big fights. We're going to talk about it the next day, break it down. So we've done one of those for Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. And we're going to do another one this week, starting with what will be, I believe, Haney-Ramirez is the first fight of the night, of the big ones. So we know why Rolly Romero and Jose Ramirez have been chosen. They're hard fights for Haney and Garcia, but they're fights they should win.
Yeah, Rolly Romero's record hasn't been great as of late. Before he fought Tank, I would have said, yeah, he was in that conversation with these lots of what could he do? Where could he go?
Yeah.
What could he? Now we're kind of looking at him as a fringe fighter outside of that group.
Yeah.
If Garcia is the same Garcia that turns up against Haney, regardless of what people's opinions are on the PEDs, etc., I'm talking about his boxing ability. If we see the boxing ability get even better without PEDs, then we've got a problem, because I think
147 now.
How he beats Rolly-Romero, it might be the same result with Haney again. Haney's got to have a good performance against Garcia as well.
I think we're going to see the best Devin Haney we've seen since Lomachenko. No matter who you thought won that fight, both of them were brilliant.
Lomachenko.
I think Haney, but yeah, it's a close fight.
We should do a reaction video on that.
We should actually. That'd be a good video. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Because that's a controversial one. But it's not a robbery either way. But look, Haney at 147 came in 3 pounds under the weight limit today. So did Ramirez. To be fair, they've both come in a little short, a little light. But that is the first time I've seen Haney on the scales and his eyes aren't about 3 inches back into his head, which is good. He's healthy, which means tomorrow night, we might even see Haney with some power tomorrow, which would be quite nice, because he genuinely has actually got some power in those hands. People don't appreciate it. Understandable. There are a lot of fights where he'll hit people very clean and it does nothing. And he comes across as a little pillow-fisted.
Yeah.
But I think it's all to do with hydration and being too light. I think we're going to see a brilliant performance from Devin Haney. And I think he's in a much harder fight than Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Devin Haney's in a tougher fight. But these are fights that they're expected to come out of, really.
Yeah.
But obviously, you've got the other thing as well, which was quite interesting, and I don't know if you saw it. It was the Ring magazine interviews on Times Square, where they had Rolly-Romero, Garcia, Haney. They had Barboza there. They had Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez just sat there with headphones in the whole time.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting. Haney's opponent as well. But yeah, it was interesting. But seeing that was very, very interesting to watch. I don't know. There's still a lot of hatred between Garcia and Haney.
Yep.
I think Haney's still suing Garcia as well.
I think he is until they've officially signed for their fight for the rematch. I think that's the idea, is to force Garcia into the rematch, was to sue him or something like that. But both of them should win. If Garcia doesn't win and really win by knockout, that to me is a problem.
I need to see Flash Garcia again. The Flash.
I think we will, because he's not going to have weight problems either. And I think we're going to see Devin Haney at his best. What will be the main event, potentially, by the way, is Garcia-Romero for the IBF. That can't be. It's welterweight. Sorry. No. I've been stupid. Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. is a really tough fight, and I think Teofimo Lopez is about to lose his world title.
I think Barboza's going to beat him.
Yeah, I think Barboza's far too good.
You know what? I watched Barboza against Catterall. We watched Barboza against Catterall, actually. I honestly think my opinion of him after that fight went up tenfold just because of how he boxed. You're only as good as your last performance. Barboza was in a bigger fight, bigger setting. Tio's been fighting on Thursday nights.
Well, let's look at who Tio's been fighting. Steve Claggett, unanimous decision. Jermaine Ortiz,
Josh Taylor,
unanimous decision. Josh Taylor, yeah. Sandor Martin was good, but very close, and Lopez got dropped. Pedro Campa, which was his comeback fight after losing to George Kambosos Jr., and then obviously he's got a win over Lomachenko, which is the weirdest. To go from a win over Lomachenko to then losing to Kambosos Jr. is so odd, but no disrespect to any of them, but yeah, it's just odd. Arnold Barboza Jr. I think is going to cement himself as the best super lightweight on the planet.
I agree.
Or well up there, maybe behind.
I really like Barboza. I just like the way he picks his shots, the way he boxes.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Barboza. Like I got a new fan in me with Barboza. Like he's a good fighter, man.
I'm excited. I'll be honest. I'm excited for all three of the fights, but that's the one that interests me the most. That's probably the most competitive. Garcia-Romero is a weird one because Romero's just brilliant at selling himself, which I'm convinced is why he's got the opportunity. I know he's been a world champion, but if we're completely honest, Romero's boxing in the last sort of 4 fights has been really weird and not very impressive. Jose Ramirez is past his best. Devin Haney really, I'd be really surprised if Devin Haney struggles. Teofimo Lopez-Barboza Jr. is the best fight there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We'll do official predictions, but I think we've already sort of decided. I'm going Garcia, Haney, Barboza for wins.
Yeah,
Garcia win by knockout. Haney points, but I think he'll drop Ramirez. And I think Barboza's going to win by knockout.
I was a bit gutted, I know, for Ramirez, because at that Ring talk show, he didn't ever get a word in, man. He couldn't get a word in. He was in there with big personalities. Like, he's just more of a fighter who he's not a trash talker per se, Ramirez.
No.
Whereas you're up there with a lot of trash talkers. Rowley, Devin Haney, Tio, Barboza, they've all got personalities.
Yeah.
Ramirez looks a bit dull up there in terms of, but he's a tough, solid opponent.
Yeah, he's just a professional, isn't he?
You know, so I like him as a boxer, but I can't see him winning this fight.
No, not with a fresh Haney. Maybe if they were down at 140, but Haney's going to be huge in there. He's going to look good. Also, Barboza Jr. won't win by knockout. I don't know why I said that. That was a terrible comment. Right. Canelo-Scull. Saturday night. Riyadh.
Whitewash. Pass the pad over. 5-0. Pass the controller. This is going to be... I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
We're going to have a very different opinion on this.
I'm trying to really sound two-sided. I want to give you a breakdown, but pass the pad. Because this fight is going to be over quicker than people think. Skull, Canelo, it's not a fight people want to see. It's a ticker box. He's got a belt. He's got to win it.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that interested in watching Skull and Canelo, but I will watch it. But I can't lie to you. There's bigger and better fighters out there for Canelo.
There's better fights on the card.
There's better fights on the card. And there's bigger fights for Canelo out there. He's just got to do the job, and I believe he will. I mean, we're talking about a cross-generational talent in Canelo who, across generations, has solidified himself as one of the best boxers to do it. He's on that list. He could be on some people's Mount Rushmores.
Yeah, could be.
He's not losing against Skull Saturday night.
Agreed. I don't think it will be... I think Canelo will just batter him. I don't expect Canelo to knock him out because Canelo's not knocked anyone out since Caleb Plant.
Body shots, man.
Maybe, but I don't know. I just because of how long it's been.
With body shots. If Golovkin couldn't knock, here's my thing with Canelo. Yeah, it took for him to go out to fight Dimitri Bivol. And even then, he was kind of left standing.
Yeah.
Skull is not going to hurt Canelo like Bivol did.
No, Skull's not.
I
think Skull will be better than we thought. I think he'll have a good fight. Canelo will win.
That's why Terence Crawford and Canelo is going to be a mismatch as well.
Yeah, the weight's going to be crazy. But
you heard it first from Hook Casuals.
Canelo will win.
Crawford will not hurt him. Sorry, go on, Connor.
So, yeah, I mean that again. I mean that depends on how Crawford carries the weight, but I don't think so. I agree. I don't think so. Anyway, look, we're Canelo-Scull. Scull, from everything I see and from what I've tried to watch, I haven't watched a lot. I'm gonna lie and say I haven't watched any of his fights all the way through. That's not a shot on him. That's just I've watched some highlights. He is good. He is probably a deserved champion. However, he will lose to Canelo because Canelo is far too good. I don't think Canelo will knock him out. And I'm only saying that because Canelo hasn't knocked anyone out for 4 years. I think, I don't know. It's not a hard fight. Look, if I'm being completely honest, there's much better fights on the undercard, which we're going to talk about. But this is setting up Canelo Crawford. That's all this is.
I'm not that interested in that fight either.
You got to have some interest in it. Okay. I know what you mean, and I agree.
Obviously,
because the weight ruins it.
Obviously, I'm going to watch it, and we'll talk about it and do a build up for it. But I really don't think that fight is 50-50. I just hope they're paying Terence Crawford well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay,
Terence Crawford is a great fighter, by the way. One of the best pound for pound. But like Eubank Sr. said the other day, and I'm going to go back to what Eubank Sr. said. There are weight classes for a reason. Look at Canelo when he went up to light heavyweight and fought the cream of the crop. Dominated. There's weight classes for a reason. So Terence Crawford had his fight at 154. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this fight isn't going to be like Eubank and Ben where it's 160 catch weight. Terence is going up to 168.
Yep.
It's mad. At his
age, he's got to gain another stone on top of the 7 he's already gained to do 154. Yeah. It's crazy.
I just don't. I understand the market for the fight, but we've got. Do you know what? And I'm going to go back to something else Eubank Sr. said that really stuck out. Very smart man, giving him a lot of flowers this week. Boxing is going to turn into WWF soon. Yeah. Rey Mysterio fighting Batista. It don't make any sense, but they done it. Hornswoggle fighting The Undertaker. It don't make any sense, but they done it. Hornswoggle's a dwarf, but they done it on WWE. So there's weight classes for a reason, Connor. Do you not get what I'm trying to say? It's like,
no, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight. We'll cover it, but I just think these weight things are getting stupid. Unless you're a cruiserweight, going up to the heavyweights or that sort of thing. I don't see a lot of established light heavyweights moving up to now in this day and age, moving up to cruiserweight.
They're not big enough. Cruiserweights are getting bigger, heavyweights are getting bigger. Yeah. We're kind of like, I mean, Benavidez is probably the only one that you could potentially see moving up.
He was big at 168 though, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how Benavidez ever made 160.
Yeah.
That's insane. But look, on the undercard, we've got Badu Jack versus Nure Mikhailshin defending his WBC World Cruiserweight title. Yeah, I like Badu Jack, so I'll watch it, but I'm really not fussed by that fight.
Badu Jack is a staple piece in boxing, man.
He is. I'm a big fan, but...
How old is he now? 40?
It's a bit of a nothing fight. Yeah, he 39, 40, yeah. Doesn't even say. Hold on, let's find out. My guess is 39. He is 41. Yeah, I mean, he's also not fought for 2 years. So he won the World Cruiserweight title against Makabu. Hasn't fought for 2 years. So this might not be a great fight at all. More interestingly than that is Jaime Munguia versus Bruno Sorachi, which is probably could be knockout of the year last year. Where Sorachi, complete underdog, nobody thought he could do it. Natural middleweight coming up to super middle, fought Munguia in his comeback fight. Sorachi, who had one knockout in his career, 4 knockouts in his 25 wins, and he knocks Munguia out clean cold. Crazy fight. So their rematch, I'm interested in. And I'm very interested. The fight I'm most interested in is Martin Bakole versus Efe Ajagba.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to finally see how good Ajagba is. He did get outboxed by Frank Sanchez years ago, but Ajagba was young. Frank Sanchez was kind of at his prime and didn't do anything with it. Bakole obviously coming off of getting knocked out by Parker. He'll be fit and ready now. I expect Bakole to win easily.
Yeah.
But Ajagba can hit like a horse. He can move. He's a big guy. And they're kind of lacing in this sort of African intercontinental aspect to it, where you got Congo versus Nigeria. So there's a bit of an extra pizzazz, if you like, to this fight. So I'm excited for that. And Richard Riakporhe making his heavyweight debut is on the undercard as well, but still no opponent.
Riakporhe looks good though at the heavyweight. To be fair, like I mean it as in looks like he suits the weight.
Yeah, he looks strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. It's exciting. I don't think there's much to talk about with Canelo fight.
No.
I like William-Scull from what I've seen, so hopefully he can do something, but he's not. I don't think he's going to win.
No.
And then the final fight of the week, if you didn't have enough within our 7 days, if you didn't have enough of Ben Eubank,
where is Inoue?
We're going Inoue-Cardenas.
Where is he?
Is it in Saudi or is it in America? It's in Vegas, isn't it? There we go.
What did they say about Inoue, man?
He doesn't fight in America. He won't come over here. He won't fight our fighters.
So what do we tell him? And Connor says, so shut up.
Shut up. Right. Raymond Cardenas. Tough fight for Inoue, but he's going to win.
They've just signed a contract as well, Inoue, for his next fight, hasn't he?
Yep. Next fight is Akmal in Saudi, September. A very good chance that's on the undercard of Crawford Canelo or Canelo Crawford.
Build for a good card.
And then Inoue wants to fight in January in Japan, and he wants to fight Nick Bull, is what the reports are saying. He wants to move up, fight Nick Bull for his world title. So he's a scary guy. He's a really scary guy in the sport. He wants to fight everyone.
If he wins on the Sunday, beats Nick Bull, and then goes and beats I'm going to butcher his name, Connor.
Akmal Diev. Yeah.
What a year for Inoue.
All within a
year.
He
doesn't fight, apparently. That's what people say.
He's going to end up. He's going to end up with he's 29-0 with 26 knockouts. He's 32 years old, but he is fighting about 4 times a year at the moment. We're looking at someone that's going to end their career, and I don't see him being beaten unless he goes too far up in weight. But even then, he's so good. He could end up being 40, with 37 knockouts.
People, honestly, you can't win with boxing with fans.
No.
Because we're mode when someone fights once a year. Inoue does it 4 times a year, fights credible opponents, but because Gareth from Leon C doesn't know who Louis Schneeri is, it's a nobody fight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But take all that out of it. Inoue has fought. Everyone he has fought, he has knocked out since 2020. He has knocked every single person out he's faced for 5 years. And you're trying to tell me this guy isn't... He is stupid. For a bit, if anyone doesn't really know who he's fighting, I've not watched this guy. I'll be real. There's no need to pretend. I've not watched him. What I have done is read up on him, and apparently he's quite quick. He hits fairly hard. He's a good fighter. I've not read anywhere that suggests he has anywhere near the attributes to cause Inoue problems. We have seen Inoue get into a bit more actual fights instead of boxing recently.
He dropped as well.
He got dropped, so maybe we'll see. He's just great to watch. What we know now is if he gets dropped or hurt, he will then come at you in a scary way. To the point where you almost don't want to even hurt him because that pisses him off.
I think that comes down to upbringing, you know. No, real talk, because these guys, the way that they're brought up, the discipline and everything else, they really live it. Like, I don't think we have that system here in Britain. I don't. Like Inoue would have been the kind of guy which, if he lost sparring when he was a kid, he had to stand against the wall for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
You get it? Like, I'm saying, it's a different discipline, man. Like, these guys have a different discipline. Do you know what I blame? I blame Uber Eats, man. I blame
Deliveroo.
2 for 2.
No. It's Just Eat. They're the original. They're the ones that ruined us as kids. Uber Eats is new.
I blame every chicken shop in London for any loss that my London fighters have had, because that's all caught us at one point. Nah, but I'm saying it's different over there, man. Like,
no, you're right though.
Even a dieting, like, and stuff like that. Like, when you actually think about it, you know, unless people are obviously everyone takes a conscious effort in this country to be sensible about what they eat and stuff like that, especially get older, especially me. But in this country, I feel like even like what the media puts out and everything else to do with food, etc. You know, I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other countries, predominantly where Inoue is as well. There's obviously known for a lot of fast food, but it's not pushed the way it is over here. I think the social factors are to why we don't have the best boxing, or we don't have a lot of champions at the moment.
Probably. I mean,
I'm running with that conspiracy.
Yeah, why not? I'm just looking at his record and like, the guy is just elite. He is just stupid.
I reckon he eats, sleeps, and breathes boxing. By the way, even at 32,
100%. He's 32, and he's already He is a Hall of Fame. I think, Japan's best ever fighter. I think that's fair to say. I mean,
so you got Junto there. You got Junto Nakatani as well.
Junto Nakatani is going to be a huge problem in the future.
He's already 30-0.
I mean, when I say the future, I mean as in like, he's not quite respected at a pound for pound level yet. I don't know why, but he is getting better and better.
Pound for pound.
I still,
bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, of course it is,
because that's my point. You've got Stevenson in the pound for pound. Would you not argue that Junto Nakatani should be above him?
Junto Nakatani is above him.
Is above him now.
There should, well, on actual things he isn't, but you look at what Nakatani's doing right now, and we know there will be no hesitation from Nakatani or Inoue. When Nakatani moves up in weight, if Inoue is still there, they will fight, and they'll get that done in a week. They will sign that contract, Tokyo Dome, boom, done, 60,000, sell that out, fight in 8 weeks' time, sorted. And there will be no bullshit. Whose name comes first? Inoue, I don't care. What weight? Super bantam, cool. Whose belts? Inoue, super bantam.
You know what I like about their model over there? There's a lot less bullshit.
They just want to fight.
But then, to be fair, bullshit sells. Also,
it does, yeah. But they're selling out 60,000. Like, you're right, but bullshit sells to us because we like it.
But it's a market, isn't it? Over there, bullshit ain't selling like that.
Exactly. Over there, they're watching good fighters. That's what they want to see.
Yeah.
And they get that. And that's why 60,000 people go and watch Inoue. Like, he's elite. And if he ends up fighting Nick Bull, and if he beats Nick Bull, which I could really see happening. I mean, I could see Nick Bull winning that, but I could really see Inoue beating Nick Bull. And if Nakatani and Inoue fight, we're already talking about one of the best ever.
That fight has to be in Japan, though, 100%.
Yeah. And do you know what? If they could do that in like 2 or 3 years' time, I can get my money up a bit. I would love to go and see that. Maybe we get all expenses paid trips, because by that point we are.
We're gonna put it out there now. From now to the next, I don't know how many shows. We're on 46 already. By 100, we'd like a trip to Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, it's not even much to ask for.
Let us know in the comments, man.
But Nah, he's elite. He's just so good. But the actual fight card again for that, there's a lot of great fights this week. I would have liked them to just put everything on the same card, but obviously they didn't want to do that. We have Espinoza versus Vasquez as well. Espinoza is always good to watch. So a lot of good fights this week. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 world title fights, excluding Haney and Garcia fighting, Bacolia Jagba, Munguia, Sarachi. There's a lot going on. And we are going to do a day after show. We're going to do it on Sunday. So we won't cover Inoue because we can't do them. Well, we're not going to do the Monday. We'll do a Thursday show like normal. So we're going to cover Canelo-Scull and we're going to cover Haney-Ramirez, Garcia-Romero, and Teofimo versus Barboza Jr. We're going to watch all of that. And a Jagba Bacolia. We'll watch all of those. We're going to come at you on Sunday.
Pause.
We're not going to set a time, but it will just be Sunday. Yeah, come join us because that'll be live reactions to all of it.
That one there we call a bun up though, Connor, just to let you know.
Why? What did I say?
I'm going to come at you. Easy now.
Well, great. Well,
gotcha.
I'm sorry. Should have said pause, man. I know pause. Anyway, look, we're I can't. See, now my head's just got coming at you now. This is just.
If I could do a compilation of catching Connor out, because the thing is, what people need to understand, just for the jokes, if we have a running joke, Connor isn't from London, yeah. So he's heard it, but it's not embedded in the culture there.
It's not my vocabulary.
Whereas here, it's in the cranium.
All right. Either way, we're doing a show on Sunday. We'll be there. You should be there. Cool. There's no way anything I've said there is weird. So come join us and I don't know. Just subscribe, like,
share, subscribe. Yeah, Thank you very much for watching, people. Before we go, I think it's good to mention again, and I will mention it on a couple of streams. It is changing next season, should I say? I say next season because we are putting some more content out for people to watch and get involved with. What we have agreed on, definitely, is we're going to do darts. Darts. PDC darts. Yeah, we are reacting to darts as a separate show. The boxing shows every week. That's the bread and butter.
Yeah.
But we created this platform to bring you entertainment in different volumes. Now this is established, we are now going to start looking at darts, potentially football. Football's a different landscape, though. Having said that, if there's anyone interested that wants to get involved with the lives as well, and hooks casuals and get involved with the project, please reach out to us. We do have an email address, isn't it, Connor?
We do. I'll put it in the description.
Wicked.
So if you want to get in touch with that, go ahead. But yeah, we got a lot. Ideally, there'll be live streams for other sports. So we would like to be doing a live stream for football every week as well. The thing is, me and Paolo know boxing. I know football. Paolo knows football.
Yeah.
But do we know football like we know boxing? I'm not sure.
I think
I definitely don't. I am biased.
Fan. What are you
I am biased. Yeah, I'm a diehard fan of Liverpool, but I'm biased.
Football fan, man. I'm watching Bundesliga. I'm watching La Liga. I'm watching whatever's on the TV.
Don't get me wrong. I love all of that, but I'm going to tell you every day of the week Liverpool is the best club in the world. And I'm going to tell you every week, anytime we lose or draw, I'm going to be horrible.
This year, Connor can say that with chest in England.
The world, we got robbed against PSG somehow. I don't know. I'll work it out. No, they're elite. They're sick. But
we don't. What's going to be funny though is we don't know a lot about darts, but that is going to be interesting.
I know about Stephen Bunting.
I know about Luke Little.
Go Bunting mental. I know my darts. Don't you worry about that. I know darts. No, darts will be good. Yeah, there's loads going out. We've got reaction videos as well. We recently reacted to Don's Hell's Kitchen Kai Trott versus Sir Scott Riley. And the week before that, we've done what did we react to the week before that?
Ben Whittaker.
Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron 2. Next week, the one coming out is potentially, I believe it's going to be the 9v9 Russian-Polish MMA wrestling thing. Completely mental.
I need to give people clarity for that. It's a combat fight 9v9.
Yeah. I said MMA.
Idiot.
But yeah.
9v9 Russian, Polish. Was it Russia v Poland?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see when it comes out anyway. But mental, by the way, mental. These countries only come up with these concepts. I don't see this in the UK.
No, it's insane. But we've got loads coming out. So subscribe, like, notifications, everything. And yeah, that is everything. We'll see you on Sunday, and then we'll see you on Thursday, and then we'll see you whenever. So got a lot going on. See ya.